Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start with the prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurbhavasvaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimai, Diyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Sadgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. ओम सहनावतु सहनाभुनक्तु सवीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 ओम. So today is a class for Mundak Upanishad, and we ended our last class with verse number 10. Where this Rishi is saying that these ignorant people, regarding sacrificial and charitable acts as most important, do not know any other way of bliss. Having enjoyed in the heights of heaven the abode of pleasures, they enter again into this or even inferior worlds. So that means our sadhana should not be a mediocre level. We have to make our sadhana where the goal is supreme bliss, Godhood. That's what he's trying to tell us. It's not that yajnas and then charitable deeds are bad, but they are preliminary. We don't want to just stop there. It's almost like you have learned the alphabet and never learned how to make the words or the sentences or write the poetry. So he's telling us, make sure you keep on climbing up. So let's start our class with verse number 11 today. Tapaha shradhe yehi upvasanti arne shantaha vidvansaha bhakshe charyam charantaha surye dwaren te virjaha paryanti sa amrita purushahi avya atmaha. Tap, shradhe. So tap and shraddha. Tap is austerity, shraddha, faith. Ye means they. He means verily. Upavasanti, live. Aranya, in the forest. Shantaha. Shanta means the peaceful, when our senses are in our control. Vidvansaha, learned. Bhakshe charam, life of a mendicant. Bhakshe, bhikshu. Charantaha, lives. Surya dwaren, through the orb of the sun. Te means they, virajaha. Paryanti. Paryanti means go, viraja means good and bad deeds consumed. So like a good action, bad actions consumed. Sa means he, amritaha, immortal, purusha. He means verily, avyatmaha, undecaying. So but they, so this is in contrast to the people he was talking about in the previous verse. But they who perform tap and shraddha in the forest. So that means total detachment from the world. Having control over their senses, learn it, and living the life of a mendicant, go through the orb of the sun. Their good and bad deeds consumed. So that means they have been exhausted. Where the immortal and undecaying Purush is. So that's where they go. So he's just giving us a comparison. In the verse number 10, he said that the slaves of ritualism, it will just keep on taking you into this cycle of coming and going. Maybe if you have done good deeds, you'll go to the heavenly abode, but you'll come back. And if not so, you'll go at the lower realms also. Again, you will come back. But over here in this verse, he is bringing forth the glory of sannyas. Like if you have detached yourself. So that's why he said, those who perform karmas with the desire-born motives reach only to the temporary joys. And again to the world. But if you have done some tapasyas with the shraddha, detach yourself from this world, and you are shant also, your senses are very calm, mind is very calm, and your intellect has all the knowledge with vansa. You will take the route of the sun. Surya Dwaren, path of the sun. So who takes the path? The subtle body. So this is like a subtle body, either can go down or it can go up. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna mentioned the word Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. So sun path is called Uttarayan and moon path was Dakshinayan. Okay. So those who merely perform karma, when they depart, they take it to the southern path to live in the Pitri Lok. That was another term mentioned, Pitri Lok and Dev Lok. So after enjoying the Pitri Lok, they definitely come back. But those people who not only perform the yajnas, they are doing the rituals also, but along with the rituals, they meditate on the truth also. Because they have a faith in that. And at death, they leave the body and take the northern route through the corridors of the sun. So that means they go beyond. And especially when he says, Sa amritaha purushahi ave atma. There's no decay there. And it's immortal. And that is really a Brahmalok. They become one with God. So choice is ours. Do we want to come back again? Or do we want to just finish this, coming and going again and again? We have to decide. Next verse. Parikshyam lokan karam chitan brahmanaha nirvedam ayat na astihi akrita kritena tat vigyanartham sa gurum ev abhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahma nishtam. Parikshyam, after examining, see, like a pariksha, after examining. Lokan, world of experiences. Karam chitan, gained by karmas. Brahmana, a Brahman. That means an aspirant, a seeker. Nirvedam, freedom from all desires. Ayat, reflecting. Na asti, nothing. Akrita, that which is eternal. Kriten, by karam. Tat means that, vigyanartham, in order to obtain the knowledge. Sa means he, guru, preceptor. Ev means alone. Abhigachet, approach. Samitpani, with the sacrificial fuel in hands. So that means the dry wood pieces, samitpani. Those are called the wood pieces which you burn in the yajna, those are called samitas. Pani means a hand. In the hand, they take those. Shrotriyam, versed in the Vedas. Brahmanishtam, established in Brahma. Let a Brahman, that means an aspirant. So it's not just a Brahman caste, It's a person who wants to reach to that level, Brahman. After he has examined the worlds gained by karmas, through karmas we can go only so far. Acquire freedom from all desires. So did the sacrifices, did the ritualistic portion. Desires are done now, no more desires. Reflecting that nothing that is eternal can be gained by karma. That means karma can take us only so far. Good karma, they will take us to good place, and bad karma to the bad place. And mixed karma, good and bad both, mixed place. So realizing that, let him, in order to obtain the knowledge of the eternal, take sacrificial fuel in his hands and approach that Guru, who is versed in the Vedas and is established in Brahma. So in this verse, we see the qualifications we need to cultivate as a serious seeker. And at the same time, qualifications of a Guru also. Every teacher cannot be a Guru. Teachers do their part, but Guru is who is well versed in the Vedas, because that is the eternal knowledge, and established in Brahma too, not just only theoretical knowledge. Establishment has to be there too. So in this beautiful mantra, the duties of a true seeker is given also. So that means the rituals have fulfilled themselves. So the qualities required in a true Brahman, remember, they are not physical. They are to an extent mental and larger degree intellectual. And mainly it's spiritual actually. So he should be Vidwan also. He should have his worldly desires under his control too. No more worldly desires. He should know the rituals also. And a person who has all these qualities, and if you want to sum it up, it really means purity of thought, clarity of reasoning, sincerity of the motives, and a insatiable eagerness to realize that spiritual fullness. I want to know who I am. I want to experience it. He wants to feel it whether in the puja room or at work. It could be in the forest. It could be on the bank of a Ganga. That is a true Brahman who has these qualities. Doesn't matter what he wears. Doesn't matter where he lives. But these physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual qualities make us Brahman. Not just the name. Not where we are. This is what he's telling us. So Brahman means a fully evolved human being who is sensitive enough to feel an urge for a greater existence and wants to keep on striving to gain it. Doesn't want to stop midway. The seeker shall have with Hersh to know that knowledge. Knowing which, you remember in the beginning of the scripture, the question was, what is that knowing which you will know everything else? So this is what he is telling us, that a seeker or a Brahman wants that knowledge, knowing which everything else becomes known. So in order to know that, in order to realize this, the scripture is advising that a Brahman must approach a guru. That means guru is must. Qualified guru though. Qualified guru. And what are the qualifications? Mastery over the scriptural literature. And number 2, personal experience of the absolute reality. Because a guru should be able to teach, but a guru should have realized it too. Both the qualification. Such a master alone can convincingly propagate this wisdom. And this kind of a guru can kindle the enthusiasm in the students also. Okay, and this is Samit Pani. That is like a symbolically the dry wood. Sure, Guru uses it for the yajnas, but it really means that you are taking your dried desires and you are saying, please burn them up now. That's what it means too. But Guru needs that also to do the yajna, but at the same time, or it's like a symbol of readiness or a symbol of a surrender in the disciple's mind. When a bundle of dry wood is taken in the hands and put them at the feet of the Guru. Number 13. Tasmai sa vidwan upsanaye samyak prashant chetaye shaman vitaye ye naksharam purisham ved satyam provach tam tatvata brahm vidham. Tasmai, to that means to that student, to that seeker who has gone to the Guru. So means that Vidwan, the wise teacher, Upsanai, approached, Samyak, well, Prashant Chitaye, to him whose mind is at rest, Prashant, serene. Sham Anvitaye, to him whose senses are subdued. So mind is calm and senses are in control. Yen, through which Aksharam, immortal, Purusham, Ved, is known, Satyam, true, Provach. Let his teacher teach. Tam means that, Tatvata, truly, Brahm Vidham, science of Brahm. To that student, to that seeker, who has thus approached him respectfully, whose mind is at rest and whose senses are subdued. So this is about the student. So he has worked enough on his physical and mental body. Let the wise teacher truly teach that Brahm Vidya. So when the qualified student comes, the qualified teacher is waiting for that kind of a student. So let the wise teacher truly teach that Brahm Vidya, through which the true immortal Purush is known. So this is Brahm Vidya, true Brahm Vidya, we will know all this. So it's like a direction to the teacher over here in this verse. That means when a disciple like that approaches a true Guru, so this Upanishad is saying that, hey Guru, you should explain the truth in all its purity, in all its completeness also. Because this student has done the work, all the prerequisites have been done. So that means a true Guru has no right to deny instructions to any disciple. But the disciple also must have the necessary qualification which are mentioned here, like the self-control and a degree of mental tranquility. The Guru must then explain. See, actually, if the pot is ready, only then the Guru can put something in there. If the pot is not ready, then no matter how hard the Guru tries, it will not make any difference. Okay, so that's why this beautiful Upanishad is talking like this, that hey, we got to do our part, then Guru will definitely do his part. So the meaning of the scriptures, not just only the theoretical meaning, but also the indicative meanings also. Okay, it's not only just the reading the scriptures, but what is being indicated through those deep verses. Guru explains that also. Sure, reading anybody can read. But to dig deeper into the indicative meaning, Guru can teach us. So over here it says Guru will teach us. Now this is the end of this section and this chapter also. So now chapter 2, section 1 and verse number 1. Tat etat satyam yatha sudiptat pavakat visuflingaha sahasrashah prabhavante sarupaha tatha aksharat vividha somya bhava prajayante tatrach ev api yantihi. Tat means that, etat means this, satyam, true. Yatha as, sudiptat, flaming, or from the flaming. Pavakat, fire, from fire. Visuflingaha, sparks. Sahasrasha, by thousands. Prabhavante, issue forth, like it's just coming out of it. Prabhavante, sarupa, of the same form. Tatha means as aksharat, from the immortal. Vividha, diverse. Somya, beloved youth. Bhava, gives. Prajayante, are born. Tatra means there. Cha means and. Ev means alone. Api, also. Yanti, goes. This is true. Etat satyam. This is true. As from the flaming fire, issue forth by thousands sparks of the same form. So from the immortal proceed beloved truth, diverse jeeves, and they find their way back into it. So analogy is given over here, just like from the fire, the sparks come. The same way from the Brahma, all the jeeves have come. We saw in the first chapter a complete picture of the lower knowledge. In the second chapter, we will see that this Rishi is painting an idea of a supreme knowledge with its contents, functions, and qualities. So this is one big difference between the first chapter and the second chapter. Because the infinite or the God cannot be expressed in the terms of a finite. Finite is limited. No matter how vast the knowledge is, but it's still finite. Finite can never explain completely the infinite. That's why we often see the analogies, the examples. But Upanishads, they have done a beautiful job pointing out to us the infinite. In these beautiful verses, for a minute, we just get so absorbed into it and we think, yeah, we get it. It's like a very wondrous expressions pointing towards the infinite. So this is a very perfect technique of explanation which is employed in this chapter. First, in the previous chapter, talked about the ritualism. That was to encourage the beginner. Because a person who has just started out on this path, those initial techniques are needed also, just like to a little child. We show them that, hey, this is the temple. This is the God. Bow down. Do the arti. If you want to ask something, ask God. To a little child, we say that. The rituals. But slowly, doing all these rituals, there has to be some mental and intellectual integration. Only then we can become fit for the philosophical contemplation and the higher meditation. Because if just from the outset, it's told the student that no, rituals are just a subsidiary activity. Nobody will like to do that. Nobody wants to do the lower work. They want to just go towards straight away, walk into the halls of meditation. I remember at the ashram, in-person classes when we had, we divided the classes, the beginners, the intermediate, and the advanced. I saw that everybody wanted to just join the advanced classes. Some of the students, they couldn't even sit on the floor properly, but they want to do advanced yoga. Because that's just a human psychology. We want to just rise up. But these rishis of this order, they say that no, prepare yourself first. Otherwise, you are wasting your time. So that's why they encourage the rituals also. So that's why in the previous chapter, a very complete and broad hint was given defining the higher as well as the lower. The formless also, the eternal, unborn, pure consciousness, and how these finite, mortal, limited individuals have emerged from that. There's definitely a relationship between the infinite and the finite. Because the finite is actually nothing but the infinite. Because if everything is Brahma, everything is God, the finite is also part of God. And that's why this beautiful analogy is used here to explain this relationship. So the individual is nothing but the supreme itself, because it has risen from it, exists in it, and merges back into it. It's almost like if you are just looking at the ocean, the wave, where is it coming from? It was produced by the ocean. It can be sustained because ocean is in it, and then it goes back into the ocean. The same thing with us. But over here, he is giving us an example of a spark from a big fire. Several sparks are coming from. They have risen from the fireplace. If you have ever done the bonfire or even your big fireplace, those sparks, what happens? They float around. Around the same fireplace, they will float around, not very far away. And when it has exhausted itself in eating up the material, what happens to the ash is thrown out into the fire. and the spark disappears. Since it cannot go anywhere else, it merges with the very fire in the fireplace. This is what happens to us. It is a theory in philosophy, accepted in scientific observations also, that an effect can only perish to become the cause. If you have gone into the woods, the old trees, what happens to them? When you don't touch them, old trees die, go back into the earth, then the new trees come back from them. So the old trees become the baby trees again. This cycle continues. So the tree dies away to become the tree. The same way when the water is decomposed, becomes hydrogen and oxygen. A physical structure made up of the 5 elements rots to become nothing but the 5 elements. Just like all ornaments. How many times we have taken our old jewelry back to the shops where they can melt and make another jewelry piece of the same metal. The same way, a spark of fire riding on a little matter seems to have wandered away from the main fireplace, exists for a while. It's just finishing up that matter. It is only a conditioned fire that comes out as a spark. Why it's conditioned? See, just like we are the conditioned Atma, the Jivatma, that is a conditioned fire. And the spark exists only as long as the conditioning exists. When the conditioning is gone, it falls back. And the same way our conditionings, our body, physical body, our subtle body, our causal body, those are the conditionings. When those conditioning has been exhausted, we'll go back. So when the consumable matter has been reduced to a spark of ash, the fire essence in the spark rolls back into the total fireplace. I find this such an amazing analogy. Because as an individual, we seem to exist. We are exhibiting all the qualities of a reality only as long as the conditioning is not eaten up or exhausted. A Jeev is born only to burn up his fruits of actions. Not knowing this, we just continue doing more karmas. We just get so entrapped into these fruits that we forget what the ultimate purpose is. That we have to go back. It's almost like that a fire which produced that spark doesn't want to go back. Just wants to keep on floating. We want to keep on floating. Sometimes into the heavens and sometimes into the hells. We don't want to go back. That is the tragedy. Verse number 2. Divyo hi amurtaha purushaha sabhaye abhyantraha hi atraha apranaha hi mana shubhra hi aksharat parataha para. Divyo, self resplendent. It's like a self-effulgent. Divyo. He means verily, amurta, harmless. Purushaha. Sa bahe abhyantaraha. Both within and without. outer and inner. He means verily, aja, unoriginated. Apranaha. Aprana means anterior to life. He means indeed manaha, mind, shubhra, pure. He means verily, aksharat, from the indestructible, parataha para. He transcends even the transcendental. Self-effulgent, formless, unoriginated, and pure. That all-pervading being is both within and without. Anterior both to life and mind. He transcends even the transcendent, unmanifested, causal state of the universe. So over here, he's trying to explain what is the exact nature of the pure spirit. We know the Jivatma, which is conditioned, but pure spirit. So over here, an attempt is made to define which is not definable. See, that's why these gurus are so big-hearted. From so many different ways they try to take our mind to something which we cannot even understand. So first he says he's a mass of light without any form. Not a tapering light, not an orb of light, not a pinnacle of light, but light without shape, light without form. Because we know the form of light in the candle, we know the form of light. If it's in a fireplace, we can see the form. But spirit is a light without any of its qualities. This is equally within and without. Sometimes we think Atma is within. It's within as well as without. Life is possible only in a medium of truth. This all-pervading light of wisdom should naturally be unborn. Why? Because it's cannot die. Something which cannot die did not take a birth, which is called eternal. It is eternal. It was, it is, and it will be. The pure consciousness, the self, has neither the mind nor prana. So Atma doesn't need these. On the other hand, mind and prana, they need the Atma because they cannot function without Atma. They cannot function without this pure and the greater than the great light. Then he says supreme is pure, Shubhra, because it is the illuminator of both purity as well as impurity. Pure consciousness is eternal and pure. So even when the world of names and forms in a state of unmanifested condition, it exists only in consciousness. So in this verse, he's trying to explain the nature of the pure spirit. Remember that. And we'll see the continuation of that next week with verse number 3. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.